The new XFL will kick off in 2020, and quite frankly, we're going to give the game of football back to fans. The new XFL will be fan-centric with all the things you like to see and less of the things you don't. And no doubt, a lot of innovations along the way. We will present a shorter, faster-paced, family-friendly, and easier-to-understand game. Don't get me wrong, it's still football, but it's professional football reimagined. Since we're launching in 2020, we have 2 years, which is plenty of time to really get it right.
Welcome to SI Now. I'm Madeline Burke. He's Robin Lundberg. Robin, you heard Vince McMahon. The XFL is back. He announced that he's bringing back the league, set to feature 8 teams with a projected launch in 2020. What's your first impression of this? Good idea or bad idea?
It's amongst the worst ideas I've ever heard. Let me start with why I think this has transpired. I think Vince sees a failure in his career resume with the XFL the first time. And there was the 30 for 30. So there's that nostalgic pull to fix that error from the past. And then he sees an opportunity in his mind because of the backlash against the NFL this year. But what I think they're doing here is, one, greatly overestimating the number of people who stopped watching the NFL because they didn't like some of the things the players were doing and all that. And then you have to fast forward 2 years into the future, whether that will even be a talking point. Sure, there are problems with the NFL as a league, but the big problem here and the big picture here is professional football is not a smart futures investment. So you have the small stuff I was just talking about, but that's the real overall thing is we constantly are talking about, the dangers of the game and how it will affect it going forward, and now you're betting on that sport going forward. Doesn't seem like a good play to me.
I mean, got to give credit to Vince McMahon, though, for striking while the iron is lukewarm at best. But, there is some interest, there is some excitement, and perhaps the fact that he is waiting until 2020, he's announcing it in 2018, 2 years to really plan and get this thing going appropriately. The last time this thing ran, they didn't even have a name for the Super Bowl or Super Bowl equivalent until midway through the season. Now they're kind of developing this as it goes, and you've got players like Johnny Manziel tweeting out that he's excited about this. You've got, Jared Lorenzen tweeting out #HeAteMe, kind of calling out a little, dig to himself, saying, I'm ready, I want to play, I'm ready to make a comeback, even though he knows he's put on a couple pounds. These guys are excited to get a shot at playing the game of football, whatever it may look like. Maybe Vince McMahon will put a little of that WWE pageantry into this. We'll see how it goes.
Well, he's a promoter. I mean, he knows how to do that. He'll know how to generate some sort of hype. But I don't really think people are too excited to see Jared Lorenzen play 2 or 3 years from now. Actually, if I go 3 years from now to 2021, people are going to be saying, hey, remember the XFL? After it fails again. I really just don't think this is a good idea on almost any level. There are some things to be taken from it. Like the WWE has been very good at innovative television. So when he says that, okay, that the games are too long, he says that, okay, except for, dude, Monday Night Raw is 3 hours. I was watching the 25th anniversary of Raw, and it felt like it lasted 25 years.
Yeah, that is true. And but if he puts a little bit of that perhaps premeditated, strategic planning of how things will go into the XFL, like how it is in wrestling, there could be some interest there, a little extra spice.
So you're saying it's predetermined whether it's a catch or not?
I'm not saying it, but maybe.
Meanwhile, the NBA AllStar draft went down, and that was very WWE-like, the reaction around it. Plenty of people were speculating on the order, including Russell Westbrook, who thought he went last.
Thoughts on being picked by LeBron for the All-Star team?
Oh, that's cool, man. That's good, man. Finally, they got the teams figured out.
Tell me how you really feel.
But I see I was the last pick on the list. I was just trying to figure out,
Alphabetical.
It was alphabetical.
See, I told you, man. Alphabetical order, man. Of course I was first. Of course. What are you talking about?
LeBron will be joined in the starting 5 with Kevin Durant, I'm assuming the first pick, Anthony Davis, DeMarcus Cousins, and Kyrie Irving. Yep, LeBron picked Kyrie. While Team Steph will have Giannis, Harden, Embiid, and DeRozan in its starting 5. After seeing the rosters, Madeline, who you got? Team LeBron or Team Steph?
I think Team LeBron is the better NBA team, but I think Team Steph is the better All-Star team. Because one thing you got to remember about the All-Star game is there's no defense in All-Star games. It's all offense, all scoring, all shooting, all highlight plays. Steph's got a bunch of shooters. He's got Giannis, which I think was his first pick because and All-Star games are played in transition.
It went Durant, Giannis, Davis. I would bet a lot on
I would bet a lot on that too. But All-Star plays in transition. Giannis plays his best in transition. He's got Steph and Harden in the same backcourt. Buckets, buckets, buckets. I think LeBron has a lot of size. There's going to be a lot of alley-oops and, that kind of stuff. But Steph's got shooting. He's faster. He's smaller. Threes are worth more than twos. Steph's going to win this game.
Well, I mean, that's the way the NBA is played a lot now. I mean, when Davis and DeMarcus Cousins came together, there was a lot of speculation on whether it could work. Maybe their pairing has worked a little bit better. It hasn't exactly lifted the Pelicans to great heights, of course, due to the rest of the roster. I'm with you in a certain sense. I think people are sleeping on Steph's team a bit, as LeBron's starting five may actually be too big. But if you're just looking at top-heavy talent, I think Team LeBron has it, because he's got 4 of the last 5 All-Star Game MVPs with Westbrook. With Chris Paul's the only one he doesn't have because he didn't make the team this year. Anthony Davis on his squad as well. And then he's got himself and Kevin Durant. So LeBron James's team is filthy loaded. Guys like Kyrie and Westbrook excel in the All-Star Game, those point guards who can score because they're handling the ball. So I think when you're looking at the top flight talent, Team LeBron's got it.
I agree. I think LeBron's team passes the eye test, but Steph's team passes the stats, analytical stats test. I mean, he's got 10 of the 25 real plus-minus scores, the top 25 real plus-minus scores. Team LeBron only has 6. Going a little deep with the numbers.
You know what's hilarious?
Going a little deep with the numbers.
It's acting like either of these teams has some massive advantage. LeBron has Durant. He's got Anthony Davis. Steph has Giannis.
All of these players are stupid good. They're going to be amazing to watch. It's going to be so much fun. I think All-Star Weekend can't come soon enough.
I think it's already been a success, right? It's generated a lot more interest, and people are excited going into the game. And hopefully that translates with the players, where they play with a little bit more of a chip on their shoulder this year, realizing it had become a bit of a joke just how little defense was played.
The only L for the fans so far, I think, is that this whole draft happened on a conference call. We got to get this televised next year. That would be so fun to watch.
There was some fun in the mystery of trying to go back and figure out how the draft went down. But yeah, I bet you do see it televised next season.
Yeah, you got NBA fans with the red lines connecting the dots on the walls like the FBI over there. All right, well, on to baseball. Something's brewing in Milwaukee. The Brewers traded for Marlins outfielder Christian Yelich and signed former Royals outfielder Lorenzo Cain to a 5-year deal. Now, last season, Milwaukee was second in the NL Central behind the Cubs and missed out on the wild card by only 1 game. So is it good for baseball to see a small market team put its chips in and make a run like this?
In a sense, yes. I mean, it's good for Milwaukee fans. And baseball is a very strong regional sport. There is so much local programming with the team, with all the games they play, chances for advertising, and fans watch their team, because I think baseball is a sport where the rooting interest helps more than, say, if you're watching an NBA game and you just have these stars that people gravitate toward. And Milwaukee hasn't been in the World Series since 1982. I was born in 1981, so that's good. It's always good to have a feel-good story. I don't know how much it resonates nationally, though, unless they're super exciting to watch. The Astros were exciting to watch, but Houston isn't exactly a small market. And I feel like people forget about teams like Kansas City and Arizona who made World Series runs. So I'm not going to just sit here and say as a blanket statement it's great for a small market team, when really Yankees being there is probably the best overall thing. Yankees-Dodgers is about the best thing they could get.
Right, but I think, if the small market team is playing well, if the small market team builds a dominant team, I think that's great for baseball, and it draws attention to other parts of the world. I mean, in other sports, you got the Green Bay Packers right down the road. They're one of the most dominant teams in the NFL historically, and nobody minds that they're in Green Bay, which a lot of people would be like, oh, I've never been to Green Bay, or I've never experienced that part of the country, but they are a franchise that has been defined by success. So if Milwaukee can put together a roster that's entertaining to watch, that's fun to see, I don't see any reason that they wouldn't have that long-going success in the league.
It's nice to see a team do the opposite of what the Marlins are doing, too, right? I mean, the Marlins giving away another one of their really good players.
You get my best player, and you get my best player.
Yeah, trivia question. Name a player on the Miami Marlins.
TikTok, no? I think that next question, SI's next question, might need to get that one in there, too, because that's the stumper.
We've already talked about Vince McMahon in the XFL, but his current and successful business, the WWE, has one of its biggest events this weekend, the Royal Rumble. And one of its biggest stars, The Miz, told us a little bit about how he got to this stage.
think every time I look in the mirror, I think, man, I can't believe where I'm at. But not only that, like the life I lead, like my wife is pregnant. We're going to have a kid for the first time. I'm a first-time dad. I have no idea what to expect. And then there's WWE. There's MTV where I'm hosting the challenge. Like these are all things that are happening this year. It's overwhelming, but it's what I want. I want it all. I'm going to get it all. I'm a guy that came from the real world, a reality background. And when I was on a reality show, we were like the scum of the earth. Like no one wanted us. Like they didn't want us on TV shows, on movies. And now you look at reality and everything's reality. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, on television, and everything is reality. I can tell you what the biggest movie stars are doing right now. I just go on my Instagram and look at their videos, and I can tell you exactly what everyone's doing. And so when we had an opportunity to do a reality show, a docuseries about my wife and I, and being first-time parents, because to be honest, I'm good at a lot of things, but this is the first time I'm being a dad, and I don't even know how to hold a kid. Like, every time someone gives me a baby, I'm like, all right. Anytime if you ask me to change a diaper, I have no idea. You're going to see all of that and more, and you're going to meet my parents. Anytime you meet my parents, you're going to see exactly why I am the way I am. You're going to meet Maurice's mom, and you're going to see why she is the way she is. So I think people are going to be really impressed, and I think people are going to be really entertained by the Ms. and Mrs. It's going to be awesome. People are going to really enjoy it. People still talk about the Talking Smack promo that I cut on Daniel Bryan, which is amazing because Talking Smack was like a brand new show, and it kind of didn't get its footing yet. You know, it didn't quite find its audience. And then once I went on that show and cut that promo, it got an audience, and it got people talking. And almost in a way where people started respecting me. And I've never felt respect in WWE until probably that promo and that year, and it just kept escalating. And I realized I need to start elevating myself and making sure that everyone knows that I'm the elite superstar. I'm the top dog. I'm the main event. And I'm going to make everyone realize it every time I go out there. I remember in that moment, because I was in that moment of, like, for a while, of just realizing what, you know, ecstatic means and happy means and what my body's doing just to be a better actor. And so then when I legit, in that promo with Daniel Bryan, when I was cutting it, I was like, oh my God, I'm about to lose it. I'm about to lose it. I'm about to lose it. And I literally just said, I'm going to lose it. And I lost it, and everything went black for about a minute and a half. And when I got done, I didn't know what came out of my mouth. I didn't know. All I knew was, wow, that's what losing it feels like. And now I can lose it anytime I want because I know what it feels like. So I'm going to be a pretty good actor.
Joined now by three-time Super Bowl champion, of course, Hall of Famer, Jerry Rice, who's with us courtesy of Hell of a Good No Fumble fanny packs. Of course, Jerry, many have dubbed Tom Brady not only the best quarterback ever, but also the best player ever.
Yeah. The
guy I see argued against him the most is you. Do you think there needs to be a distinction between QB and player when calling Brady GOAT?
No, it's just a different era. That's all it is. And, you know, Tom Brady, what he's doing in the game of football right now is just outstanding. And, you know, he's going for ring number 6. He makes everybody better around him. He's that it factor. And if he's on the football field, he's going to move the ball downfield and put points on the board.
To you, did the way they handled Brady's hand injury before that game feel like gamesmanship at all?
I remember him running on the football field, and they had the cameras on his hand. And I'm looking at Tom Brady, and he has this certain look about him when he's all locked in. And he had that determined look and that, hey, look, I'm going to play my best football game today. And he came out and, he was able to really inspire his team on to win that football game. So, yeah, they gave it a lot of attention, but for some reason I knew he was going to come out and play his best football.
Joe Montana, Steve Young, Jimmy Garoppolo. Any chance Jimmy G will be mentioned in that same class?
Well, you gotta let this play out. You know, Jimmy G just came over to the San Francisco 49ers. You could see the spark. You could see the creativity. You could see this guy being able to get outside the pocket and still eyes downfield and make plays. So, you know, I'm hoping that the San Francisco 49ers sign him long term, because I really feel like Jimmy G can be that guy you can build a team around.
On John Gruden, you said he can be your best friend and your worst enemy, and that the Raiders were going to get Chucky.
Yeah.
Is that a good thing?
I think so. I think so. And I think the player's going to have to deal with it. You like when you know exactly what type of coach you're getting. And, you know, John Gruden is going to inspire you. He's going to put you in a position to win. If you don't do your job, he's going to be, you know, he's not going to sugarcoat it. He's going to let you know. And he's going to make those players really buy in and work hard. And hopefully, you know, they can turn this around and get back on the right track.
All right, when I think of great wide receivers, I go Jerry Rice and then Randy Moss or T.O. Two guys hoping to get in the Hall of Fame. If you had to pick one between those two guys, who would it be?
Put them both in, because, you know, Randy Moss, probably the most gifted receiver to ever play the game with his speed and his jumping ability and the way he could stretch the field. Then, you know, Terrell Owens, physicality off the football, you know, strong guy, and a guy that also that can threaten like a defense and get by them and score touchdowns. So put them both in.
On a more serious note, a lot of people probably don't realize you didn't play football until high school. With all the new CTE research about risks for young kids, do you think anyone should play before high school?
I didn't start playing until my sophomore year in high school. I think the NFL, they doing everything they can do with you know, protecting players and, you know, teaching them how to tackle and do all that. If my son came to me and said, hey, look, Dad, I want to play football, I wouldn't have a problem with it. I think it's safer now than when I played back in the day.
I know fanny packs are in vogue now. Stone Cold Steve Austin just sported one on the Raw 25th anniversary show. What differentiates the hell of a good no-fumble fanny pack from the others?
Okay. You know, it's like I'm retired from football now. I'm retired, but I still enjoy tailgating. I enjoy the big game. And my MVP is hell of a good. And it comes in French onion, bacon horseradish, buttermilk ranch, and you can go to any grocery store and you can go to the dairy aisle and you'll be able to find the dip. Now, the no fumble fanny pack. Come on in. You got your chips, you got your beer, you got your dip, then you have a place for your phone. Look at that. And it's like every man's dream. And for a chance to win this, you got to go to hellofagood.com. Thank you, Spike. But it's like there's no wrong in this. And like I said, you know, I'm happy to team up with Hell of a Good. I felt during the day when I played the game of football, and I joke around about this. I think I was hell of a good.
Quick pass caught by Seferian-Jenkins.
Seferian-Jenkins holds on for a touchdown.
Austin Seferian-Jenkins.
Just confirmed, Austin Seferian-Jenkins has been arrested for driving under the influence.
Get in an accident and all of a sudden everything goes black. So like you think you're dead for a second and then you wake up and you're alive. The first thing I did was look under the car. You know, I was like making sure I didn't hurt anybody. I didn't hurt anybody, and then I just probably could have ran, but I just sat there because I was just like in shock. But looking back on it, you know, I wish I would have got help then. You know, I wish I would have like said, you know, I think I have a problem, which I think I knew I had a problem. I think I just didn't want to admit to myself, you know, that I had a problem. But I knew I had a problem.
Oh, I'm really happy, Coach. Thank you so much. You won't regret it. I will too. Have a good one. Tampa Bay.
He's an NFL player, but I smell alcohol. He plays for the Bucs. But I smell alcohol. Let me see.
I don't know if I ever thought I'd go through something like that again, but I knew I was going to go through some hard times. When you do certain things repeatedly over and over again, you're going to put yourself in a certain situation to make that same mistake again. Well, I wanted to drink because I didn't like to deal with shit. Like, I didn't like to deal with a problem. Like you say, you got a problem with whoever, maybe your girlfriend, maybe a family. Like, I don't want to deal with it, so I'm going to drink. And I kind of just got like lost in like identity crisis of like who I am as a person. You know, sometimes you just get caught up in the fact that you play football and that's all you are. When in reality, Austin is a whole different person, and football is what I do. You know, those people that are just hanging on just to be around the sports athlete, and then there's, you know, people that legitimately care about you. And I got those switched up. I literally pushed everyone that literally cared about Austin away, and I literally pulled everyone that only cared about the athlete and like being on TV and stuff like that. I pulled them closer, and it just literally was a downward spiral because you don't know like what's real, what's fake. Dude, stop trying to run comebacks. That's all you can do.
I don't run comebacks.
Oh, you don't? You don't run comebacks?
I run out routes.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
run comebacks.
Okay.
You should have known it was coming. We grew up 5 minutes from each other, so it was a 5-minute bike ride. So it was every day. I was at his house, he was at my house. I was worried about the people he was hanging out with, the relationships he had, and I was more worried that he lost his sense of where he came from in his home. It settled in that there's something going on here.
I'm like, yo, you know, I'm good. Someone pick me up. Must be doing something right. You know, you talk about having a problem with something. There's like the contemplation period of like, do I have a problem? You know, I was definitely going through that. And then when I got to New York and I didn't want to stop drinking, there's like the contemplation of like, I do have a problem. How do I stop it?
It was following the end of the season. He suffered a hamstring injury in the last game. And when he's worried and when he's upset, he resorts to drinking.
And I was just like sitting there, just like getting pissy drunk, mad, upset about a whole bunch of different things and blaming everyone but myself. And I said, bro, I got a problem. I'm drinking and blaming everyone but me. But I'm the one picking up the liquor, taking these shots. I didn't want to, I don't know what I wanted to do, but shit, I didn't want to do what I was doing.
A lot of times when he was drinking, he didn't want to talk. And he said, I want to go to rehab. And that's all I needed. It was about 4 in the morning when he came home. And I didn't go back to sleep. And I'm finding rehab facilities, finding them.
And I woke up and I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm fine. I'm changing today. I was so fat at the time. I was just so hungry. He's like, well, I'll take you to Burger King. And I was like, all right, we'll go to Burger King. And then he's like, I passed out or something like that. I was eating it. Next thing I know, I'm at the rehab facility.
On the ride home, I was just thinking, please, you know, I was praying, please just stay there, because he could leave.
And I literally wanted to leave within like the first like day. And I just literally locked myself in that room. I'm like, no, I don't want to eat. No, don't. People be knocking, hey man. I'd be like, dude, close my fucking door. Like, I don't want to talk to anybody. By the third day, one dude named Dan knocked on my door and he said, dude, come out here, dude. We all know you play football. No one gives a shit. You have problems like us. I was like, dude, fuck you. And he was like, fuck you too. And then walked in the room. He's like, you know, I'm a barber. You're looking pretty bad. So I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll get a haircut. Living the dream, man.
Yeah, right.
1 year, a couple days behind me.
6 days, not even a week. I had him come out to the groups, talk. You know, he got real into it. It was pretty cool, you know, just seeing somebody who didn't want to come out. I was just like, all right, I'm going to stay here for the time I'm supposed to be here, get it done, do nothing, and leave. And after 3 days, he started doing the work, and that's the hardest part, is admitting you have that problem. It's hard, but he was willing to do it.
I always thought that seeing Austin become the athlete that he is would be the most like amazing thing I'd ever see come from him. And it's not even close. Seeing him transform himself and heal himself, it's really amazing.
Nice shot. It's snowing, it's coming down, and my hands are getting warmer. It's all mental warfare. It taught me how resilient I am, how tough I can be in a real sense. I'm not talking about getting hit. I'm talking about like mental toughness. Being like, I'm really down right now. I really feel down. I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna keep pushing. I got a goal in mind. I'm not gonna give it up. Nothing's more important than this goal, and everything else will fall around with it. And I told myself when I was gonna get sober on the 20th of last year that I was gonna do everything I could to say, yo, if I do this right, let's see how it is. Forget about the drinking, forget about the bad relationships. Literally do everything in your power to do it right and see how well you can do. And I just saw so much growth, and like if I just continued to do that and continue to be on that path, that's what's like the motivation. It's like, how much better can I be as a person, and how much better can I be as a football player? How much better can I be as a brother? How much better can I be as a friend? And more importantly, how much better can I be as a son and a part of the community? My first game back in September, so I remember writing, I had 5 catches, 31 yards, nothing special, but it was just like, I wrote, let the world know how hard you've been working. And now I look through it, maybe there's nothing written on them significantly, but I can remember the days.
To see him write the numbers on his board and cross them off and be so proud of it, it affected me. That every day was a battle, it really was. And he was winning, we always say, win the day, let's win this day. And he really was, he was winning days. And now to think it was a year ago, it feels longer.
Like the celebration is every day to me. Like my celebration of 1 year, I'm gonna treat it as like every other day, and I'm gonna write up another 365 days for this next year, you know? That's my celebration to myself, is doing it again.
It's time for SI Now's Weekend Drive, presented by Toyota. Let's go places. First, we head to Mobile, Alabama for the Senior Bowl. Players get one last shot to showcase in a game setting for NFL teams before their pro days. Oklahoma QB Baker Mayfield was invited to participate by the Denver Broncos and is thrilled at the opportunity to possibly play in Denver.
It's an honor. You know, if John Elway asks you to be on your team, you don't say no.
The Broncos hold the 5th pick in the draft and could easily snag the senior QB. Next, we head down under to Melbourne, Australia for the men's singles final of the Australian Open. Roger Federer will try and make this his 2nd consecutive Norman Brooks Challenge Cup in what will be his 20th Grand Slam final. Federer has yet to drop a set in this year's Open and will face Marin Cilic in the final.
20 times special, I don't know what to tell you, but it would be amazing. I can't believe how fast now the week has turned out to be, and yeah, I mean, it ain't just an easy trip to the finals.
Lastly, we head to Orlando for this year's Pro Bowl game. Vikings cornerback Xavier Rhodes is disappointed that his team didn't make it to the Super Bowl, but likes the future his defense and the organization has in front of them.
Defense is going to stay together, you know, for a long period of time, I believe. I believe they'll keep us together. And, you know, I just think the future is going to be bright.
Excluding the 3 years where NFL legends drafted teams, the AFC and NFC have traded victories in the last 6 games. So if the pattern stays, this year is going the AFC's way. And that's what's in store for